So I'm going to apologize in advance. This video is going to be upsetting to anybody who believes in Greta or thinks that, the media circus around these people is real. But, it is what it is. I'm going to jump to a lot of conclusions here. Why do I say Greta is a fraud? Where does this begin? How do we start to unravel this when this little child messiah is so important to the climate movement, and what she does is so important to making the world a better place, saving us from the evils of capitalism and unfettered growth. So I just, what I did is I took a look at her Wikipedia and I just kind of came to a few different conclusions based on what is out there. The short of it is that Greta is an autistic OCD child who has been abused and used by her parents to create this platform of climate change, activism. Okay? Now, do I think that she is doing this intentionally? Is she like a bad person? Is she a grifter? Yes, she's definitely a grifter. Okay, but I think she means well. It doesn't mean that the outcomes are good, but I think she does speak from the heart. Unfortunately, it is a child OCD autistic heart, and I don't know what she's learned since she started her campaigning. Maybe she's been studying a whole lot about the climate so that she can provide real solutions. But at the beginning of her campaign, she did not have any solutions, and she was proud to say, I don't have any solutions. You guys got to come up with solutions. That's not how this works. If you don't have a solution, you go sit on the side. Stop taking up the oxygen in the room. It's that simple. Why do I come to this conclusion? First of all, let's look at her parents. Now, her dad is some sort of actor. Her grandpa was a director of some kind. But her mom is the funny one. Her mom is an opera singer, Malina Iman, it seems. Iman, like a Swedish name, not like Iman, like an Arabic faith name. Malena was a singer, and she performed in the Eurovision, which is one of the European nations' favorite pastimes. It's a big deal in Europe. Besides the cooking and the sports and the fascism, they like to also do these singing contests. The Ukrainians won the Eurovision contest this year, I guess, and they will supposedly be the honorary hosts of next year's thing. So you understand what this connection is. They really just love music for some reason, but like fake music. Anyway, her mom, back to the main point, won an award, the WWF World Wildlife Fund award for like Swedish Climate Person of the Year back in 2017 for pushing, I guess, some the Paris Accord joke. So before Greta even hit the world stage, her family had already grifted off climate, you understand? And they'd kind of dipped their toes in the water, tested the feasibility of it. And from there, it's not really hard to see that you get this autistic child, you fill her head with these ideas of doom and gloom. What's going to happen, for example, to Sweden if the climate does change? It's going to get 2 degrees warmer. It's going to become a little bit more pleasant as a place. Wow, what a disaster. More to the point, once Greta starts complaining about what's going on with the Swedish actions to limit their emissions, I haven't looked at the figures. I don't need to tell you that Sweden is not really out there emitting that much carbon, which is, a whole other story. I don't want to talk about carbon just yet. I still have to learn about all of the nonsense they're doing with these carbon markets and financializing the climate. So what you get is this child who apparently stopped eating and stopped, you know, listening to her parents. I don't know, because she was just so gloomy about what's going on in the world and that the climate is going to end everything. This is like a child with OCD getting fed stupid ideas and she gets obsessed about it. It's not, this isn't rocket science, right? So in 2018, she sees that I don't know how she connected it, but she saw that there were school shootings going on. Keep in mind, this is the era of Trump, the era of Trump. So you've got the media kind of looking for any sort of narratives, circuit, not even going to go there, circuitous narratives that are just going to get the clicks, right? So she starts these, we're going to not go to school. And then she gets a platform for that. She becomes this activist because she's saying, we're not going to go to school unless you meet the climate standards that were set by the UN, which is like, that's a whole other story. But from there, when did she really hit the world stage? I think it was 2019 when she decides that, well, she's invited to speak at the UN, so she's going to sail across the Atlantic in a solar-powered boat with two other people actually doing the sailing. And in that way, she will be carbon neutral in her trip. Like, sorry, the planes were going to be going over the sea anyway, for the record. There's this ridiculous concept called flight shaming that was, I think, coined by more of these Swedish clowns. But the plane is already flying over the ocean. All this was a publicity stunt, and it worked. The media really honed in on it. It's like, oh, this girl is sailing across the sea. Oh, she's saving the world, and God knows what. We already saw the whole child messiah thing happen with Malala, okay, who is just some random girl, poor enough to get shot. I'm sorry about that, but I don't know what makes her special. I know what makes her stubborn. I think it does take a certain amount. She might be autistic too. It takes a certain amount of autism to go up to a gunman and say, well, no, I got to go to my class. I don't know what she learned, but since she went to Oxford, so obviously she must have been really smart. That was not really smart getting shot, let's be clear. So anyway, that went off on a tangent there. But what it comes down to is that the whole narrative around Greta is nonsensical. This is a child who cannot provide solutions. She is just a figurehead, a messiah, all right? And these kind of figures taking up the oxygen in the room, as I say, they prevent actual solutions, right? You end up focusing on her and her theatrics, and even the response that you get, they don't even address other issues now. The anti-Gretas, whatever they are, now it's like she gets to shape the narrative, or the media that get to craft her fake image, they get to shape this narrative. And in the end, you kind of go down this, I don't know what you call it, this hyper, whatever it is, a loop, vision, something. I'll come up with the phrase later. But it's tunnel vision, sorry, tunnel vision. They give you this tunnel vision where you don't get to look at the actual things causing the problems. You just have to look at the climate is this, the climate is that. And now we have climate censorship. You're not allowed on social media, on these different platforms, to question the narrative. I don't know. She's got 4 animals named after her already. 2 slugs, kind of suited to her, I guess. Her sluggish, look. She's kind of like, no offense to her, but I mean, if there was an insect, slugs are, they are mollusks. But if there was a critter, slugs are pretty good, because she also got a spider and a beetle. I guess she's kind of beetle-like too. She's cool. she's cool. There's nothing wrong with this little girl. She's also an adult now, not even a little girl. So she should be more responsible about the nonsense that her movement is pushing. Okay. She should probably go back to school. But, you know, another couple of years, I guarantee you she'll be in one of these Ivy Leagues or something, despite not having graduated. I think she probably is like taking a distance learning thing. In any case, all of these climate activists are not trustworthy, and their solutions are not going to work. And we should deplatform them. We should usher them off the stage. That is the whole short and long of it. I believe that she has been used by the adults around her to just become this golden goose, this cash crop. And I feel sorry for the world, but essentially we get the figures and the representation that we deserve. You know, if you can't figure out what a grift is, you will get scammed. It's that simple. So that's Greta. Good luck.